The Viking invasions of England. For centuries, the Anglo-Saxons ruled Britain, but then came the Vikings. Fierce warriors, expert sailors, and ruthless raiders, they arrived in terrifying longships, striking fear into the hearts of kings and commoners alike. But their arrival wasn't just about plunder. The Vikings would change Britain forever. The Viking invasions of Britain began in the late 8th century and lasted for over 200 years. What started as coastal raids soon escalated into full-scale wars, leading to the rise and fall of kingdoms. In this episode, we'll explore why the Vikings came, how they fought, and how they shaped Britain's future. The Viking Age in Britain began with a single, shocking attack. 793 CE, the raid on Lindisfarne. A group of Norse raiders landed on the island of Lindisfarne, attacking its famous monastery. Monks were killed, treasures were stolen, and the Christian world was horrified. Other raids followed. Viking warbands targeted wealthy monasteries along the coasts, striking places like Jarrow, Iona, and Dublin. Why did they attack? Historians believe the Vikings were driven by overpopulation, political turmoil in Scandinavia, and the lure of riches. What began as lightning-fast raids soon evolved into something far bigger: conquest. By the mid-9th century, the Vikings weren't just raiding, they were invading. 865 CE, the Great Heathen Army lands. A massive Viking force, led by legendary warriors like Ivar the Boneless and Halfdan Ragnarsson, arrived in East Anglia. Their goal? Total conquest. They seized kingdoms. The Vikings captured York, Jorvik, in 866 and overran much of Anglo-Saxon England. The last stand, Alfred the Great. In 878, King Alfred of Wessex led a resistance against the Vikings, defeating them at the Battle of Edington. This forced Viking leader Guthrum to accept a peace deal, dividing England between the Anglo-Saxons and the Vikings. This was the birth of the Danelaw, Viking-controlled England. For nearly 150 years, England was split between Anglo-Saxon Wessex and the Viking Danelaw. Danelaw society, the Vikings didn't just rule by the sword. They settled, farmed, and even married locals. Cities like York became thriving trade hubs. Clashes with Wessex. The kings of Wessex, starting with Alfred's descendants, fought to reclaim England from Viking control. 978 to 1016, the return of Viking power. Under King Sweyn Forkbeard and King Nut, the Vikings briefly ruled England entirely. The Anglo-Saxons would reclaim their throne, but only for a short time. Another invader was coming. For over 2 centuries, the Vikings reshaped Britain, from blood-soaked battlefields to thriving cities. Their legacy remains in English culture, language, and even place names. But their time in England would soon end. A new power was rising. Norman Knights and the fateful year of 1066 would change Britain forever. Like, comment, and subscribe to discover how the Normans and the Battle of Hastings shaped the next chapter of British history in our next episode.